Your brain is broken, and it's not your fault. No, seriously, if you've been feeling like your attention span is getting worse, like you can't sit still, can't focus, can't even finish something you actually care about, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you lack discipline. It's because your brain has been trained, conditioned, to function in a completely different world than the one you're trying to live in. Think about this. You sit down to do one simple task. Maybe it's work, studying, or even just reading something important. You open your laptop, and within minutes, something pulls you away. Just a quick check, right? You open YouTube. One video turns into 5. 5 turns into 20. And suddenly, you're watching something you didn't even search for, didn't even care about, and you don't even remember how you got there. And the scary part? You were aware of it happening, but you still couldn't stop. That's not normal. But it feels normal now. Because this is what your brain has adapted to. Constant stimulation, fast switching, endless novelty, instant rewards. Every scroll, every notification, every video, your brain is getting hit with dopamine over and over again. And over time, it starts expecting that level of intensity all the time. So when you try to sit down and do something slow, something quiet, something that actually matters, your brain rebels. It gets restless, bored, uncomfortable, almost anxious. So you escape, back to your phone, back to the noise, and the cycle repeats. Now here's the part nobody tells you. I was stuck in this exact loop. I tried everything people recommend. Dopamine detox, productivity apps, cold showers, morning routines, all of it. And for a while, it felt like it was working. But it never lasted. I'd always fall back into the same pattern, the same distractions, the same frustration, until I realized something that completely changed how I see focus and how I rebuilt it from the ground up. And once I applied it, everything started to feel interesting again. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one really explains properly. Your brain isn't just distracted, it's been reprogrammed. Every single day, you're surrounded by high-speed, high-reward stimulation. Short videos, notifications, endless scrolling, content that's designed, engineered, to grab your attention instantly and never let go. And your brain? It adapts. That's what it does best. If you put your brain in an environment that's fast, loud, chaotic, and constantly rewarding, it starts to expect that as the baseline, not as something special, as normal. So now, compare that to real life. Sitting down to study, working on a project, reading, thinking deeply. There are no flashing lights, no instant rewards, no constant novelty. It's slower, quieter, sometimes even boring. And to your brain, that feels like something is wrong. So what does it do? It pushes you away from it. That's why you feel that sudden urge to check your phone, that itch to switch tabs, that need to just take a quick break that turns into 30 minutes of scrolling. It's not random. It's your brain trying to return to the level of stimulation it's privileged to. And the more you give in, the stronger that loop becomes. This is where most people make a huge mistake. They think the solution is to force themselves to focus harder. More discipline, more willpower, more hacks. But that's like trying to sit still in a room that feels unbearable and blaming yourself for wanting to leave. You're fighting the symptom, not the cause. Because the real problem isn't that you can't focus. It's that normal life now feels understimulating compared to what your brain has been trained on. Let that sink in. The things that are supposed to matter, your goals, your work, your growth, feel less interesting than random content you don't even care about. Not because they are less important, but because your brain has been conditioned to chase intensity over meaning. And until you fix that imbalance, no system, no app, no routine is going to save you. So the question becomes, how do you retrain your brain to actually enjoy the things that matter again? Because once you understand that, everything starts to change. So here's what actually works. And it's a lot simpler than you think. Not easier, but simpler. You don't need another system. You don't need more discipline. You need to lower the noise your brain has gotten used to. This is how you reset it. First, control your mornings. For the first 30 minutes after you wake up, no phone, no scrolling, no notifications, nothing. Just water, light, silence. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Your brain will start searching for stimulation almost immediately. You'll feel bored, restless, maybe even slightly anxious. That's not a bad sign. That's withdrawal. That's your brain realizing it's not getting the instant dopamine hits it's privileged to. And instead of escaping that feeling, you sit with it. Because this is where the reset begins. Second, make boredom normal again. This is the part most people avoid. We've trained ourselves to fill every empty moment with input. Walking, put on a podcast. Eating, watch a video. Driving, play music. There's never silence, never stillness. So you reverse that. You start removing stimulation from the small moments. Go for a walk with no headphones. Eat without a screen. Sit without reaching for your phone. At first, it's going to feel weird. Your brain will keep asking, where's the input? But over time, something shifts. Your baseline starts to come down. And suddenly, things don't feel as empty anymore. Third, single task your work. This is non-negotiable. One task, one tab, one focus. Set a block, 45 minutes, give or take. And during that time, you don't switch. Not even once. And here's the key. It's going to feel slow, painfully slow. Your brain will try to convince you to check something, switch tasks, do anything else. That's the test. Because every time you resist that urge, you're training your brain to stay, to settle, to focus without needing constant stimulation. And over time, that slow feeling, it disappears and gets replaced with something much more powerful. Deep, steady attention. This isn't about becoming hyperproductive overnight. It's about retraining your brain to function normally again. And once that starts happening, everything changes. Within a few weeks, something strange starts to happen. Not dramatic, not instant, but noticeable. Your mind gets quieter. That constant urge to check your phone, it weakens. That restless feeling when you sit down to work, it fades. And the things that used to feel boring start to feel manageable again. Not exciting, not thrilling, just stable. And that's the part most people misunderstand. You're not trying to turn your life into endless motivation and excitement. That's the same trap that got you here in the first place, chasing constant stimulation. What you're building instead is consistency, the ability to sit with something without needing to escape it, the ability to focus without fighting yourself every 5 minutes, the ability to actually be present with what's in front of you. Because when your brain stops expecting the next hit, it finally starts engaging with reality again. And that's when everything begins to feel different. Work feels clearer. Thinking feels deeper. Even simple things, like walking, eating, or having a conversation, start to feel more real. Not because the world changed, but because your brain did. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. This isn't a hack. There's no shortcut, no secret trick, no instant reset. It's just less input, less noise, less switching. Done consistently, long enough for your brain to stop bracing for the next dopamine spike and start settling into a new normal. It's not flashy. It won't go viral as some 10-second fix, but it works. And if you're tired of feeling distracted, overwhelmed, and disconnected from your own focus, try this for the next 7 days. No extremes, no perfection, just small moments of silence. A little less stimulation, a little more control over where your attention goes. Because once your brain resets, you don't need motivation anymore. You finally get your attention back.